Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like if we add something to our map. So for instance, I used to live in Indianapolis, and that was in Indiana. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you'll see that it shows up. If I'm not happy with where this lands, then I can type in something more specific, like maybe a zip code. Landmark would work. So for instance, I lived close to this mall, and so that would pop up. However, I don't necessarily want to say that I've lived there because that's a little weird to live at a mall. However, I can choose I was here, I traveled here, or I lived here. And so that can be added to your map. You can also add photos to your map and mark where those are at. And again, those are going to show up through this area. You'll see that the photos can be viewed in a variety of different ways, and when you click on that, it shows up and shows you where you're at, what you're doing. You can also set so that just confirming who can see this. So right now I'd have it everybody except for certain friends can see those pictures, as well as these other ones that other people have loaded in place. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple other features. We're going to go ahead and head back. Actually, I'm going to click on Sean Sweeney. That's going to take me back to my timeline. Another feature that I wanted to show you was whenever you're in here, so items automatically get added to your timeline, and maybe, for instance, I don't want this to be added to my timeline long term, or let's go with this subscription. So I can click an X here, and it says that it's going to hide this recent activity story from timeline, or it's just going to continue to hide similar activities from timeline. And I just want to hide this particular thing. You know, I don't really want people to know that I'm following David Pogue. I don't know why, but that's the reason. I can also edit or remove something that I've added, so I can change the date or location. So this is, again, timeline is the purpose of kind of chronologically keeping track of your life, and so you can change the date, even add a location for when things have happened, or if you choose for it to not show up on your timeline, then you can hide it from your timeline. Please note that this doesn't mean that this activity has been removed from your profile. It just means that it's been removed from your timeline, which other people can view. You can also delete the post, and then that in fact will delete it. If other people are doing things, you can report or mark as spam, and that's helpful when you're seeing different things that shouldn't be popping up on people's Facebook, that you do in fact report those things. And you can also feature items, so if something's very important to you, then you can make it a feature, and notice how it becomes much larger on my timeline. So that's really going to stand out to people who are coming to my page. I can also minimize it on the timeline by unclicking that, and so it goes right back to its same spot. Just like in other spots, anytime that you see one of these, this allows you to change who exactly can see this post, so you have control over each individual post, kind of like this one, my friends who can see it, so on and so forth. I encourage you to explore and keep track of what all is popping up. And one way that you can see what others are seeing is you can click on this little gear. Again, anytime you see an arrow like this, it means that there's additional information. And so I can click here and I can view as. When I select this, it's going to allow me to view my timeline page as somebody else. So here, this is what my timeline, once my timeline is published, this is how it will look to most people on Facebook. And most people means basically public. And you'll notice that there isn't much content here. I can click on these different areas and try and get things to pop up, but it's not going to pop up until I get down to when I joined Facebook, and that one you don't really have control over, and then also when I'm born. This when I'm born was controlled by my About page. So again, this gives you a preview that was found right here on my page, and you can also click that public link up here and to again see what can be seen. So always double check and make sure that you're frequently viewing and knowing and understanding what others can see about you online.